Do you have a problem with comma splices or run-on sentences when you write? Do you even know what those are? Can you ever use them? Would it be okay? And if you did use them, how would you know how to correct them? Well, that's what this tutorial is about. Run-ons and comma splices, a really important topic. So let's start off by seeing if you can identify which sentences are correct, properly formed, and which ones fall into this category of run-ons and comma splices. Sentence 1. At this time of year, I like to sit on my front porch and drink from a mug of coffee which my friend Peter made out of clay that can be found in the Sonora region. Is that a run-on or a comma splice? Number 2. There's a knock on the door. My mother must be here. And 3, the sun shines. It is hot. All right, what do you think? Of these 3, are all of them correct? Are some of them correct? Is there a run-on? Is there a comma splice? What can you identify here? And the answers are that number 1 is correct. Number 2 is a run-on. And number 3 is a comma splice. All right, so what's going on here? Why is number 1 that seems so long? How is that one correct? And look at number 3, that's so short. Really, that's a comma splice or a run-on? It's too much? All right, what's going on here? Here are the rules. A good place to start is with a definition. Sentence run-ons and comma splices, they really are the same thing. And what they are 2 complete sentences that are improperly connected. You have one sentence here, it is a beautiful day outside. And then the next sentence, I want to go play. Now you should have a period between these 2, but you've run them together, and that makes it a mistake. Let me elaborate with 2 more points. First of all, run-on, comma splice, this concept has nothing to do with the length of the sentence, even though it almost seems like it should be with the word run on and on and on. No. For example, here was the sentence you saw before. It's a long sentence, but it's not a run-on. Nothing is improperly connected here. So this is okay. And the second point is that almost always the problem has to do with a pronoun that starts the second part of the sentence. In this case here, we have a complete sentence, the sun shines, subject, verb. All right, that's a sentence. The second one, well, it is hot. That also is a sentence. It, subject, is verb. Now what happens is that you think the word it is so tiny and inconsequential that it should just be part of that first sentence. Well, actually, it's as much of its own noun as the word house and computer and queen. After all, the word it is standing for one of those big words like porpoise. So beware of these pronouns. Now, can you come up with a list of pronouns? It is one of them, and there's a whole bunch more. All right, here's my list. I, you, he, she, it. It is the big one. That's where most mistakes happen. We and they. These are the pronouns that often are occurring after the comma, and people think, oh, they are small, let me just blend it together with the previous section. But no, you really need to start up a whole new sentence. Now that you know what a run-on is and a comma splice is, how would you correct it? Here's our sample again. The sun shines, it is hot. How might you correct it? Come up with as many different solutions as you can. And here are the 4 solutions. One is you use a period. Another is a bit more sophisticated, and you use a semicolon. Notice that if you use a semicolon, the letter after that is not capitalized. Another solution is to use a connecting word like and, but, or, for, nor, yet, something like that. And the fourth way is you go back to the drawing board and reconstruct the 2 parts in a different way. It is hot when the sun shines. So that's what run-ons and comma splices are. That's how you correct them. But still, is it ever okay to use run-ons? Well, writers do take liberties with run-on sentences if they want some kind of dramatic effect, but they especially use it inside of dialogue because we, speakers, often rush our sentences together, and a writer wants to replicate how people authentically speak. And so you might see something like this. He said, "The air is humid today. It's going to rain." She said, "Leave me alone. I'm not going nowhere." In both cases, the writer has made a choice to rush these two individual sentences together in order to replicate how people speak. And so a quick review. What is a run-on sentence? It's when you join together two independent clauses, two clauses that really are their own sentences. You jam them together without any end punctuation. When it's a run-on, often that means there's just no punctuation. When it's a comma splice, it means there is a comma. Both of them are wrong. What is it not? Well, it has nothing to do with length. When you hear run-on sentence, that doesn't mean it's a page long. In fact, as we've seen, it could be very short, just like 6 words, but those 6 words could be 2 separate sentences that need to be separated properly. How about when does it most often occur? It's with those pronouns. Most often, among those pronouns, the word it. That's where I see it most often. And how can it be corrected? Well, you could put a period, you could put a semicolon, you could connect the 2 sections with a word like and, but, nor, or you just revise the whole 2 sentences altogether. And finally, let's move on to this quick quiz. Here are 3 sentences. Which ones are fine, complete? Which ones have this issue of comma splice or run-on? Hit pause, read them, make a decision. And the answers are, number 1, once again, it's fine. It sure is long, but that doesn't mean that it's improperly connected. So 1 is fine, 2 and 3 are not fine. In both 2 and 3, there is a comma splice going on, a comma that is connecting 2 independent clauses that need a period, a semicolon, something else to more seriously separate them. And just to highlight number 3, be wary of that word it. It's one of those pronouns, and that's where most often people make the mistake of having a comma and the pronoun, thinking, okay, they're related, I don't need a whole new sentence. But in fact, if you're following the rules correctly, you do need a new sentence. And one final exercise. Here is number 2. The timer went off. My potato must be ready. Correct this in the 4 ways that we have learned in this tutorial. All right, here are the answers. Number 1, you could just have a period and start up a whole new sentence with a capital letter. Number 2, use a semicolon. Keep in mind that if you do use that, you want a lower case after that semicolon. The third method is to come up with a connecting word, and, but, or, for. Often it's a word that establishes the relationship between the 2 parts. And finally, you can reconstruct the 2 parts of the sentence. In this case, since I heard the timer go off, my potato must be ready. So that's it for this tutorial on comma splices and run-ons. Remember, this has nothing to do with long sentences that run on and on and on. Rather, it has to do with 2 independent clauses that are improperly joined. Okay, hope this has been clear. Bye-bye.